Janice had always believed she knew everything about her son Luke, until the day he ran through the door shouting about an identical twin. A hard-working single mother, she was dedicated to giving her 8-year-old the best life possible. They lived in a modest house in a small Wisconsin town where life was simple and predictable. Each morning she rose early, prepared Luke for school, and headed to her job at the local bookstore. It was a routine she cherished until that sunny afternoon when everything changed. "Mom! Mom!" Luke burst into the house, his voice trembling with excitement as he dropped his backpack by the door. "Guess what? I have an identical twin." Janice's heart skipped a beat. She turned from the kitchen counter, where she'd been slicing apples for his snack, and met his wide, sparkling eyes. "Sweetheart, that's amazing," she said, forcing a smile as she ruffled his sandy hair. "But are you sure you're not imagining things? Twins aren't common." Luke shook his head so vigorously his glasses nearly slipped off. "No, Mom, I promise. I met him at school today. We look exactly alike. I even asked Miss Carter to take a picture of us together. I'll show you." He darted to his backpack, rummaging through it with frantic energy. Janice watched him, her mind racing. She'd given birth to Luke alone, no mention of a twin, no complications beyond the usual. Could he be mistaken? Yet, as Luke thrust a slightly crumpled photo into her hands, her breath caught. 2 boys stared back at her, same freckled noses, same hazel eyes, same lopsided grins. One was unmistakably Luke. The other, who was he? "Who is he, honey?" she asked, her voice steady despite the storm brewing inside her. "His name's Leon Martin," Luke said, bouncing on his toes. "He's in the other 3rd-grade class. Isn't it cool, Mom?" "Very cool," she murmured, her thoughts spiraling. She needed answers. That evening, after Luke was tucked into bed, Janice called his teacher, Miss Carter. Explaining the situation felt surreal, but the teacher was kind and eager to help. She confirmed that Leon had been adopted by a local family years ago. Adopted. The word echoed in Janice's mind as she hung up, her curiosity deepening. Over the next few days, Janice couldn't shake the thought of Leon. She watched him from a distance during Luke's dance class, noting his small frame, the way he adjusted his glasses just like Luke did. She spoke to his teachers, who described him as quiet but bright. Her gut screamed that this was no coincidence, but she didn't want to overstep. These were Leon's parents, his family. Yet Luke's innocent excitement gnawed at her. He deserved to know the truth, didn't he? And if Leon was his twin, didn't his family deserve to know too? Janice needed proof. Discreetly, she gathered DNA samples, a strand of Luke's hair from his brush, and, after a nervous chat with Miss Carter, a strand from Leon, collected during a craft project with the teacher's permission. She mailed them to a trusted lab, her hands trembling as she sealed the envelope. Every passing day felt like an eternity. She distracted herself with work and Luke's chatter, but at night she lay awake, wondering, how had they been separated? Who were their birth parents? When the results arrived, Janice's hands shook as she tore open the envelope. The words stared back at her in stark black ink. Luke and Leon were identical twins. Her heart soared, then sank. Joy clashed with uncertainty. What now? She couldn't barge into Leon's life or his family's without care. Sitting Luke down that evening, she took a deep breath. "Luke, honey," she began, her voice soft. "Remember how you said Leon might be your twin?" He nodded, eyes wide. "Well, I found out something special. You were born with a brother, Leon. You're twins. But when you were babies, he went to live with another family." Luke's mouth fell open. "Really? Like in the movies?" "Kind of," she said, smiling at his wonder. "It's why you look so alike." He frowned, processing. "Why didn't I know him before?" Janice hesitated, then squeezed his hand. "Sometimes when babies are born, families can't keep them all together. It's complicated, but we've found him now. How do you feel about that?" Luke's face lit up. "Can I meet him?" Like for real? I'll make it happen, she promised, pulling him into a hug. All I want is what's best for you, son. The adoption agency offered guidance but cautioned that Leon's family had requested anonymity. Still, they agreed to forward a letter from Janice. She poured her heart into it, explaining Luke's discovery, the DNA results, and her hope to connect the boys without disrupting their lives. Weeks passed with no response, and doubt crept in. Had she overreached? Then, one crisp morning, a package arrived addressed to Luke. Inside was a letter from Leon's parents, Tom and Ellen Martin. They'd been hesitant at first, they wrote, but Janice's thoughtfulness had moved them. They'd known Leon was a twin, told at his adoption that the healthier baby had already found a home. They thanked her for reaching out and proposed a meeting. The families arranged a casual outing at a nearby park. Janice's stomach churned as they pulled up, Luke practically vibrating beside her. "What if he doesn't like me, Mom?" he whispered. "He will," she reassured him, smoothing his hair. "You're his brother." The moment Luke and Leon spotted each other across the playground, all nerves vanished. They ran toward each other, colliding in a clumsy, joyous embrace, laughing as if they'd never been apart. Janice watched, tears prickling her eyes as Tom and Ellen approached. "You must be Janice," Ellen said, her smile warm. It's incredible." "It is," Janice agreed, shaking Tom's hand. "I just wanted them to know each other." "We're glad you did," Tom said. "We never thought we'd meet his twin." The families spent the day together, swapping stories over picnic sandwiches. Luke and Leon discovered a shared love of comic books, chattering about superheroes as they raced around the park. Janice marveled at how alike they were, not just in looks, but in the way they tilted their heads when curious, the way their laughs echoed. As the sun dipped low, Ellen turned to Janice. "This feels like a gift, for them and for us." Janice nodded, watching the boys chase each other through the grass. "A new chapter," she said softly. Years later, the families remained close. Luke and Leon grew up as brothers, their bond unshakable, despite different homes. Janice often thought back to that sunny afternoon when Luke burst through the door. She'd given him a good life, yes, but this, she knew, was something more. A connection that would last a lifetime.